Professor Pince Nez. They were found in the dead man's right hand. There can be no question that he snatched them from the face of the assassin.
May I see them, please?
Do they tell you anything, Holmes?
Inspector, you have your notebook, of course. Pray take it out and write as I dictate. Wanted. A woman of good address, attired like a lady. She has a remarkably thick nose. She has a puckered forehead, a peering expression, and probably rounded shoulders.
By George, it's marvelous.
It's incredible. The great mind of my friend Sherlock Holmes never ceased to amaze me. My name is Watson, Dr. Watson, and I was privileged to share the adventures of Sherlock Holmes. Now, let me locate the exact page, and I will tell you about the case of the golden pince nez. A moment, please. I think that of all the cases which fill 3 massive volumes containing our work for the year 1894, the case which is the most conducive to a display of those peculiar powers for which my friend Holmes was famous was that of the golden pince nez. Well, Holmes, here's Inspector Stanley Hopkins to see you.
Ah, Hopkins, come in, my dear sir.
Evening, Mr. Holmes.
It must be something important that has brought you out in such a gale.
It is indeed, Mr. Holmes. Did you see anything of the Yoxley case in the latest editions?
I've seen nothing later than the 15th century today.
Oh.
Let us hear about it.
Some years ago, this country house, Yoxley Old Place, was taken by an elderly man named Professor Coram. He was an invalid, keeping to his bed half the time. He has the reputation down there of being a very learned man. He found it necessary about a year ago to engage a secretary. The first 2 that he tried were not successes, but the third, Mr. Willoughby Smith, was a very young man straight from university. He seems to have been just what his employer wanted. I've seen his testimonials. From the first, he was a decent, quiet, hard-working fellow. Nothing against him at all. And yet, this is the lad who has met his death this morning in the professor's study. Death?
I take it you're going to tell us he's been murdered.
The circumstances can point only to that.
I see. Well, you'd better tell us a little more about the household to begin with.
If you were to search all England, I don't suppose you'd find a household more self-contained or free from outside influences. The professor was buried in his work. Young Smith knew nobody in the neighborhood. And the 2 women had nothing to take them from the house, although the garden gate is only 100 yards from the main London to Chatham Road.
Now, just a moment. These 2 women, who are they?
Well, there's an elderly housekeeper, Mrs. Marker, and a maid, Susan Tarleton.
I see.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?